After 2 years together, Danny had decided they were no longer working as a couple. This was news to him. As far as he was concerned, they were doing brilliantly. They both had their own homes, but had progressed to having a toothbrush and a few clothes stored at the others. Today, Danny had packed those clothes and that toothbrush into a box and handed it to him, telling him that she wasn't ready to move on to the next stage and that to her, their relationship wasn't working. She told him her biological clock was ticking, and the louder it got, the more she'd had to assess her life and her life decisions. This was not about him, but about her and her biology. She hoped he understood. He'd apologized to her. He'd actually apologized. She'd given a faint smile, clearly grateful he was making this so easy. He was sorry she had to do this, said he understood why it was happening. Now he placed the box containing his few belongings and the post on the arm of his sofa and collapsed beside it. Danny had been his world. What would he do with himself now? He supposed he had more time to focus on his real dream. He'd made some inroads recently, but now he could really give of himself. His art, real creative work, was what drove him. Creating art for the masses in the form of an exhibition to attend and view. His name in lights, known to critics, reviewed, critiqued. His soul soared at the thought of what he could create with the time stretching out in front of him. He could pour his emotions at the loss of Danny into the sculptures he would design. He looked at the box beside him and the small pile of letters beside the box. One was his past. The other could hold his future. He'd applied to a few museums and some art galleries a couple of weeks ago, requesting to hold an exhibition in their premises. There had been some rejections, but that was to be expected within the creative arts field. You didn't get anywhere without rejections under your belt. If you weren't rejected, you couldn't call yourself a real artist. But he was expecting to hear from the rest, and at least one would accept him, and that would be his starting gun. You only needed one to get going. Excitement fluttered in his stomach, like a butterfly cornered in a window, as he stared at the mail. He picked them up. 5 in total. The first was a gas bill. The second, an offer of a credit card. The third one was the important one, in a plain white envelope without a window. He tore it open and read down the single-type sheet, a cold knot curling in the pit of his stomach. How could they? His fist clenched, the paper crunching in his fingers. How could they? He tried to breathe. There were 2 more envelopes in his other hand. This meant there was still a chance he could hold an exhibition and show the world, the art critics, his work. The first of the 2 envelopes went straight on the floor with a scrunched-up rejection. It was a brown envelope with a clear window, not what he was interested in. The final one was the all-important one. He tore it open. His world ended. The paper fluttered to the floor with the rest, scattered around him like large pieces of confetti. Time slowed. His mind struggled to grasp what had happened. How could they all reject him like this? He was good. Danny had told him how good his work was. Had she lied to him? Was that all she was, a liar? His fury at her built up like the rejections on the floor at his feet. She'd rejected him, and he'd apologized for it. Him. He'd apologized instead of her. He certainly wouldn't apologize for these rejections around him. He would do what Danny had said and assess his own life and his decisions, and that meant his choices in pleading for space to show his art. He would turn this around on them and show them he didn't need them. The world would be his stage. There were plenty of spaces that could host an exhibition, bring it to life and have people awed. What he needed was an installation that would have everyone talking, something that no one had ever done before.